There are life-saving cancer drugs that are in such short supply, some patients are going without. Tonight, an exclusive 5 on Your Side investigation reveals a Northeast Ohio company is one of several across the country that are linked to a national drug shortage. On Your Side, Chief Investigator Regan joins us live with what he's uncovered.
Well, Danita, we found out that U.S. Food and Drug inspectors were at a major pharmaceutical lab in Bedford just last May, and conditions inside the plant help contribute to the shortage. A national drug shortage is affecting patients across the country. Nikki Petrie and Richard Burdett are both fighting cancer.
They told me that next week you may not get treatment because there's a shortage.
Well, unfortunately, I went in for a chemotherapy treatment, only to be informed by the doctor who came in and said, "I'm sorry, we haven't got the drugs to treat you with."
Benvenue Labs in Bedford produces 2 other cancer drugs that are also in short supply, leucovorin and bleomycin. Our investigation took us to Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. We found drug shortages have nearly tripled in the last 6 years, jumping from 61 to 178 last year. And 20 of those were manufactured here at Benvenue Labs. Captain Valerie Jensen is the Associate Director of the FDA's Drug Shortage Program.
The main reasons that have occurred, when we looked back at the reasons for these shortages, a large number of them have been due to quality issues at the manufacturers. Some of those quality issues have been found on inspections.
Inspections like the one performed here at Benvenue Labs. We filed this federal Freedom of Information request with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. FDA inspectors found lack of adequate oversight in quality control, stainless steel particles in some drugs, gloves not sterilized, and bacterial contamination. As a result, Canadian health officials issued this notice warning deficiencies may have an impact on product quality. The company declined an interview, but in a statement said, since the inspection, we have made a number of changes. And it admits manufacturing and quality disruptions have contributed to drug shortages. But the FDA says there are additional reasons for critical shortages at drug companies across the country.
These drugs that have been in shortage for the most part have been older injectable drugs, and often, and those are drugs used in hospitals, and often those drugs get discontinued, unfortunately, because they're less profitable than newer drugs.
This 13-year-old Florida boy died while waiting for bleomycin, a cancer drug that never came. According to the FDA, bleomycin's been discontinued by Benvenue Labs, but continues to be manufactured by 3 other labs. His father remembers what the doctor said.
And then he told me that there was a national shortage of it. And I said, are you trying to tell me that my son's dying?
Congressional hearings were held last September. Senator Sherrod Brown is now pushing for new legislation to alert hospitals about possible drug shortages.
At least the drug companies need to tell the government, and we then let patients and hospitals and nurses and doctors know that there is an impending shortage.
Both Petrie and Burdett are now being treated with other drugs, but they're convinced the drug companies are putting profits ahead of patients.
Unfortunately, cancer is also big business. And I think it comes down to big business.
So pharmaceuticals can make, companies can make more money on the new drugs that are coming out. They're going to be more expensive.
And President Obama has now issued an executive order telling the FDA to push drug companies to come forward about future drug shortages. And we're going to keep an eye on that pending legislation that would require drug companies to report. I'm Chief Investigator Regan.